Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Before we go on to filtering, I want to go over this just a second. It has to do with a homework problem that you have. And what you have is a data table that looks like this. And the trouble is, if I try to sort and filter and work with it or anything like that, let's just try sorting and filtering this data. And I just to make it a little easier, let's do it this way. And I'm just going to sort based on what fluid it is. So if I just go A to Z on fluid, here's what's going to happen. It only bunches 3 rows, then lots of blank rows for fluid. Everything's all jumbled. Everything's all mixed up. And the question is how to rectify this, how to fix it. What you have to do is you got to make sure this column is filled all the way down. Same thing, oops. Same thing here. And you can do that, and you notice me doing that, by grabbing that little square. I select the cell, grab the little square at the bottom right, and just drag it down, and it will just fill in all the rows after that. You can copy and paste too. That you can do that also if you want to. And I have to do the same thing here. Just fill in all the fill it in. Anyway, before you start working with this table. So that's that on just making sure your data, your table is set up correctly to be able to work with it. Sort, filter, all these other things we're talking about. The table has to be completely filled in. Even if somebody gives you the data, it's not filled in, you got to go in and make sure it gets filled in somehow. Most of the time, if you get an output from a database program, it's filled in. So people understand this when they're producing data for us to consume. So if you have thousands of rows, it'll probably be filled in. Usually it's for hand data, so it's easy to correct it. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our states. And I want to make sure, yeah, we're back to where we started from. And now we want to filter. Filtering is, we use the same menu. You can get it from the data tab too. The sort and filter right up here on the home tab, editing group, sort and filter. Now we want to filter. And we're going to filter on population density. So I click the filter button. You see little drop downs, by the way. Just click that drop down. I can select, well, there's sorting, just like before. Here's filtering. I can select none. Okay. Gee, it doesn't let me select none. It wants at least one. Take a look, and you can okay. So let's get, now there is one way to do the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can just click them all. This is one way. It'll drop the lowest 3, which would be Alaska. Well, we'll see what states are missing. I think it's North Dakota, maybe. And what's the third state that has a pretty low population? I'm pretty sure it's not Florida. Alaska, North Dakota, and who has even a lower? 3 million is the next one. Colorado, maybe. It's a big area, and it's only 3 million folks, so that might make sense. So I'm expecting not to see Alaska, Colorado, and North Dakota after I do this. There. No Alaska. It jumps right to California. No Colorado. It jumps right to Florida. No North Dakota. Okay. Now we can just see. I can just go to the top of my little drop down arrow there, and now I can just do select all again. They're all restored. They're all restored back. And now just turn sorting and filtering off. Just turn off the filter so you're not filtering anymore. So that's pretty easy. Let's see. Let's try a couple things. Who has its capital in Richmond? Let's filter that. By the way, this will filter only one column. You don't need to filter the whole table. And I want to deselect everything, and then what's Richmond. There it is, Richmond. Which state? Virginia. Yay. Control Z just to undo. You can unfilter also. We could do custom filtering too. So I got the filter off. Let's just put the filter back on everything for now. So now I want, how do I get the 10 highest population density anyway? So here's the top 10. Remember I did individual clicking? Click. Now I can get there, the top 10. Just like before, Alaska's missing, Colorado's missing, North Dakota's missing. Easy. Or I might as well do a Control Z, just undo it. It's easier than messing around with the filter menu, actually. Now, here's something else. Big areas. So you can have a formula filter greater than. And square miles greater than 100,000. Okay, we'll get to the second part later. There, 4 states greater than 100,000. And you can say populations greater than 10 million. Okay, number filters. And well, we go edit greater than 100,000. Good. And population. Population. I want population now. Okay. I don't need to do anything more with this one. I just remembered. And populations. That's what I want to do. Cancel this. Go to the population drop down. Do the number filter. So it's greater than or equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6, greater than or equal to 10 million, less than or equal to 20 million. I'm only going to get one. I'm just going to get Texas. There it is, less than or equal to 20 million. 20 1 2 3 4 5 6. I should only get Texas. It's the only one in that group. Now I filtered on population and square miles. Let's see what happens when I deselect, when I select all here. Okay. 4 states. I'm not making it over 100,000 square miles. So that's filtering. Now you might ask, well, I'm not going to be. I mean, these are just exercises. These are just examples. As an engineer, I'm not going to be messing around with filtering data. Well, You might. You very well might. So the um, the reason is you might work for a company. It's producing parts, widgets. There's quality control data. Does how many parts are exceeding a certain specification? How many parts are in spec? How many parts are out of spec? You're going to need to find that kind of information. And this is something engineers do. How many parts are greater than this and less than this? Well, that's your population, greater than 10 million, less than 20. Well, maybe you want the dimension is greater than the lower tolerance and less than the upper tolerance, and how many do we have and how many total? So in other words, how many rejects do we have? And the companies don't want rejects. They want you as the engineer to go find and fix the problems that are causing rejects. So this is just exercise data to get you used to how to use the system. But in real engineering, uh, Excel is the tool that's used the most. It's the data crunching tool that is the most popular in engineering because it does lots of things. It doesn't do high complicated scientific programming math like MATLAB does, but it does the ordinary stuff. And it does a whole bunch of the ordinary stuff that which is why engineers like it. It's easy to use, and it does 80-90% of what they want to do. The other 10%, sometimes there's a specialized program like SolidWorks, but mostly Excel does what the number crunching that we want to do. And if we need something more sophisticated, we'll figure that out later. We're going to get into MATLAB just a hair this semester. So that's it for filtering.